What's up, everybody? Let's get into today's reaction video.
What role in the Middle East again does Israel play in this?
Israel was created as the instrument to bring about the Battle of Armageddon and the fulfillment of prophecy, a war that will be so terrible, where nuclear weapons will be used, so that the American citizens and the other people in the world will get down on their knees and beg for no more war. And what is the answer to that? They're going to be told the only way we can guarantee no more war is if we destroy the sovereignty of nations and we come together as one humanity and government.
Right.
Now, I'm telling you,
The World Economic Forum.
unless the American people wake up and stop it, starting in about 1996, the Battle of Armageddon will become a reality.
So, in this video, we're going to learn about how our reality that we see on the exterior of our lives is very much so scripted by people at the top. To the victor goes the spoils. So, whoever wins writes history or his story.
He laid out the blueprint for everything we're seeing today. He knew why it had to happen, he knew who was behind the curtain, and he knew what we should expect next.
Read the book of Revelations, whether you believe in the book or not, read it, because the men who are bringing this about are using it as their script.
This interview was recorded in 1990.
I agree with him because my belief is that revelation would eventually happen one day, probably in the way future. People who are here on this earth right now are like, I want it to come to fruition in my lifetime. So what they're doing is they're using their power, money, resources, their pull, their leverage over people to try to expedite this and bring it, usher it in prematurely. But doing that can have consequences from, you know, things not falling into place right, all the way up to it not happening because they're trying to intervene and play God. They're trying to expedite and rush in this age of revelation that was supposed to come into fruition naturally, and they're trying to do it in a very unnatural way.
And as you listen, you'll understand why his blueprint
They're just a bunch of bored rich people.
still matters today. Because he said it would all unfold exactly like this, down to the smallest detail of the script.
My heart's fine.
I'm only 40. Ignoring your heart health risk is no way to go through the world.
Because he said it would all unfold exactly like this, down to the smallest detail of the script.
And I get people who still come to me all the time and say, Bill, you're all wrong.
Abaddon, the angel of the bottomless pit, and his name was Abaddon or Abaddon. Shout out to Tyler Hansen. Oh, shit!
It's the Jews. The Jews are subverting the world. Man, it's not the Jews. It's not the Catholics. It's not the blacks. It's these men who belong to the ancient mystery schools, who meet in secret and decide the fate of the world. And they belong to all different races and all different nationalities and all different religions to the public point of view. But in secret,
they're one
it's a different
unit.
story.
Yeah.
He claimed the fate of billions rests in the hands of a small group of people. And their strategy, he said, is simple. Keep us watching the circus so we never look behind the curtain.
At the highest
Give men and women bread and circuses and they will never revolt.
levels of all countries,
You just saw it this year. The Epstein files. We need to go take their heads and put it on sticks. And then 5 minutes later, oh wait, but the Super Bowl's on, so it's all good. Oh wait, but the Winter Olympics, so we don't care. Bread and circuses.
they all belong to the same club. And we, the people, sit back and we watch this grand drama, which is being played out for our benefit, not theirs. If it wasn't for us, they wouldn't even have to do any of this. But you see, they just can't come out and destroy all of us because they need slaves. They need people to make their shoes, and make
Worker
their cars, and mine the ore. They need worker bees, and that's what we are.
His name is Bill Cooper, and what you're about to hear is his warning to the world. He believed that if you don't spare the time to hear this message to the end, if you don't make the effort to understand it and finally wake up, then you're participating in the Great Deception just as much as they are. His words, not mine.
George Orwell was just like me. He was a low-level member of British intelligence who was appointed to a position high enough where he saw the same documents that I saw. And he tried to warn the world just like I'm trying to warn the world, only he wasn't willing to take the risk that I'm willing to take. So he wrote it in a book called 1984 and spelled out exactly what's coming as a warning to the people of the world, as a work of fiction. But you notice that that work of fiction really stirred people up because they knew that it wasn't fiction. In their heart of hearts, everyone who's read that book knows that it's coming.
Here's what Orwell understood. Control doesn't happen overnight. First you distract, then you divide, then you rewrite the rules so people don't even know they're being controlled. 1984 showed us the final destination. A world where nothing is true and everything is permitted except for those in power. For decades, that was just fiction. But now, more and more of the pieces are fitting together. The scenarios that were once...
He might have worded that a little differently. It's us that aren't going to have the freedom. They will, because they're the overlords and stuff, and the site committee. But yeah, like it said in 1984, wrong think. Like, oh no, you're going to get arrested for wrong think, for thinking something that's wrong, according to them. Having your own thoughts. You have thought police, like policing your thoughts and thinking, oh, okay, he's going to take this action. We need to stop him. It's like, it's crazy. Just check out the book, or just check out a synopsis of the overall story to get a better understanding if you don't already know.
Ridiculed are beginning to look like the morning news.
Why is it that you are here today, or how is it that you are here today and you're not, conveniently taken away and put in a padded cell somewhere so that you can't speak of these things?
I can tell you this. I began to reveal information in 1976, and I was physically attacked on 2 occasions. My skull was caved in. That's what all these scars are here. On the second attack, I lost my leg. They visited me in the hospital. They had no intention of killing me. They were delivering a message to me.
Ooh.
Shut up. And that was the message that came through loud and clear. And 2 men who identified themselves with identification cards who belonged to the Defense Investigative Service, which is really the Defense Intelligence Agency, asked me if I was going to shut up or they were going to have to do it right.
Put you down.
And I told him, I said, you don't have to worry about me. I'm going to be a good little boy for the rest of my life, and I'm going to shut my mouth. And I did for 16 years. Kept silent until I saw this.
You can talk conspiracies all day and people will just ridicule you, call you paranoid. But when you start talking about what you're not supposed to, that's when they come after you. At least that's what Bill said in the full interview.
It's true.
But now, he's starting to say things that really make you pause. Look at the pattern. Why does every piece connect? If it's all just coincidence, why does it keep happening? Listen to this.
Either these men are following the Book of Revelation. The Book of Revelation it is in the Bible. They're either following it, just like a plan, and bringing.
They're trying to usher it in prematurely. Which, if they're intelligent enough to realize this, they must know that that's going to ruin it. It was written because God's the only one who knows the hour. Okay?
Prophecies in there to pass, to manipulate and control those who believe in those prophecies and neutralize them, so to speak. In other words, if this is written in the Bible and God has ordained it, who am I to resist? It must come to pass. So I'm not going to try to stop it. Okay. What a perfect way to neutralize the opposition right off the bat.
Yeah. Wow.
There really is a God. And what he said was going to come to pass is coming to pass. And I named this, Behold a Pale Horse, from chapter 13 of the book of Revelations. The 4th horse,
the
4th horseman of the apocalypse is the pale horse. And I looked, and behold a pale horse, and his name that sat upon him was Death. and hell followed with him. And power was given unto them over the fourth part of the earth, to kill with sword and with hunger.
Just take a look at the four colors on every Middle Eastern flag, or like 87% of them. And then look at the four colors of the horsemen of the apocalypse. And just notice that they're the same four colors.
And with the beasts of the earth.
Now, look at the four horsemen. Revelation 6 describes white, red, black, and pale.
The pale is like a sickly green, is what that color is. But
The
yeah.
Greek word for pale is chloros, greenish, the color of death. Some point to the red horse, war, as already writing. The black horse comes next. Famine, collapse. The verse describes inflated prices, scarcity. Some suggest it could be
It's up to and just as bad as working a whole day's wage for one loaf of bread. That's what I heard.
approaching. Revelation 13 describes a world where no one can buy or sell without a mark.
Without the mark.
Today, central bank digital currencies are rolling out globally.
We
Is it
don't
the
want
mark?
that.
No one can say. But the technology described, it's being built.
Are you ready for a new level? You can take full control of your AI girl. Choose.
The technology described, it's being built. Whether you believe it or not, some in power clearly do. Commanders quote Revelation, leaders invoke scripture. Bill Cooper said they're following a script. Look at the pattern. Something is lining up.
Everything that's in my book, Behold a Pale Horse, is all, everything in here, all the documents that are in here, everything that's in this book is in the public domain.
Can be substantiated.
Yes, and I intentionally wrote this book not using anything that wasn't available to the public, to show people that yes, if I can find this information, so can you. I have tons of stuff that's not available to the public, but as you can see by reading this book, you don't need that stuff, because it's what you need is available.
Is God. What you need is God.
Libraries are overflowing with the proof of what's really going on in the world, but nobody really utilizes it to the extent that they're able to pick this out and put it together. Another thing I've done for people is I put it together for them so that they can see the overall picture rather than.
So this is just already incredibly intriguing to me. For somebody to be talking about this from at least 1996, and then now we see how it's all come to fruition. I've seen other videos like that too with other gentlemen who have predicted stuff like using recombinant or whatever DNA, recombinant DNA in the jab, boom, boom, the jab, the 1-1. Yeah.
Looking at small things and thinking that it's isolated. Nothing is isolated. It's all part of a big puzzle.
Why is it that we can hear something this important and still forget it by tomorrow? Maybe we don't want to believe. Maybe we're scared. But I think it's something else. We're numb. Life grinds us down. Work, stress, the endless scroll. It all adds up. And then we turn on the news, hoping to understand. But instead we get noise, distortion, confusion. And that numbness becomes a habit, a survival mechanism.
And that's it. They know that we won't blink up in big numbers to overthrow these oligarchs. They know it just won't happen. We're too lazy, or we're too distracted is what it really is. And they've made strong men into weak men, and they did that intentionally so that there wouldn't be any pushback. I mean, if the Epstein files, the recent thing that came out this year in 2026, if that didn't get us all together, I don't know what will. I think it might be too late by the time we do band together. So I don't know what to say about it. I feel a little black-pilled about this topic, to be honest with you.
But what if that's exactly what some are counting on?
All the media in this country, radio, television, and print, is all owned by 5 corporations. All of these corporations that own the media are owned and controlled, and members of the Council on Foreign Relations sit on the board of directors. But you can trace that yourself.
Okay.
Remember, if you go down and you trace the ownership of a station or a newspaper and you get to a corporation, remember that somebody owns that corporation, and it's usually another corporation. But when you trace the interlocking of all these things, when you get to the top, there's 5. And
Vanguard,
all journalists
BlackRock.
know that there's some things you don't write about and you don't talk about because you'll lose your job. And that's where the
BlackRock.
control is.
Vanguard.
Let's try it, shall we? Pick a news network, any network. Let's start with CNN. On your phone, type, who owns CNN? You'll
Oy
see it's
vey.
owned by Warner Brothers Discovery. Good.
Oy vey.
Now type, who owns Warner Brothers Discovery? In
Oy vey.
2026, that's changing. Warner Brothers Discovery just signed a deal to be acquired by Paramount for over $110 billion. Now type, who owns Paramount? Paramount was bought last year by Skydance Media, and Skydance Media is led by David Ellison. Now type, who is David Ellison? He's the son of Larry Ellison, founder of Oracle, one of the richest men in the world. But keep going. Who runs CBS News?
And in the Matrix, you have to go see who? The Oracle.
CBS is owned by Paramount, and the editor-in-chief of CBS...
Oh, that's weird. I wonder why their symbol looks like an eye. Maybe it's because they're controlling everything we think and do through our eye gates. Maybe that's why.
News? Barry Weiss. She was appointed after the Skydance acquisition. Now here's the thing. Cooper said all media is owned by 5 corporations. That was decades ago. Today, the names change.
BlackRock, Vanguard. There's other ones, but I don't know. Those are the only 2 that are popping up in my head. But I know that, like you said, 5, and I know that I have a third, and fourth one in there. I don't have 5. I'll admit it, but I have 4. I used to talk about 4. I don't know.
The pattern doesn't. You start with a news network, you end with a billionaire. And that billionaire, always connected to power. Try it yourself. Pick any network, any platform.
Lobbyists.
Follow the chain, see where it ends. You might be surprised how fast you get to the same place. Let's continue, because this next part is about us.
That's why they pay athletes these fantastic salaries. I was listening to the radio the other day. They just contracted to pay one player on one team $6 million a year. Can you
What the
believe
fuck?
this?
And
Who
why
the
is
fuck
that?
needs?
It's the Romans.
Who the fuck needs that type of bread, bro? Who needs it?
Circus. What does the emperor do when the people become restive, and when the people are asking questions, and when the people don't like the policies of the emperor?
Bread
He
and circus.
sends them to the circus. He creates a circus. He builds a giant coliseum, and he begins to throw the Christians to the lions. And he has great chariot races and football games and basketball games, all to keep the idiots preoccupied.
Gives a brand new meaning to all roads lead to Rome.
With things that don't mean anything in the scheme of the entire world, so that they don't have the time to learn what the truth is, so they don't ever get smart enough to learn how they're being manipulated, so they don't ever question the emperor. That's why they pay a player on a football team or a baseball team $1 million or $2 million or $3 million a year.
This is Rome.
It's the Roman circus.
Yep.
I know men who don't know anything.
The most schizo thing I heard somebody say is the Roman Empire never left. It just became the Catholic Church. Holy bro. I don't agree with that. I'm a Catholic. But who knows? Maybe people high up at the top, maybe they are shakers and bakers, you know? But it's a very interesting concept. And then I see that it's probably deeply rooted in one's own hatred for God rather than the truth. But I don't think you can blame it all on one thing, like it's the church or it's the Satanists or the Luciferians or it's Donald Trump or Joe Biden. It's everybody, bro. But it's really not. It's really a very small circle of people. And they've maintained their secrecy through nobody knowing what their names are. And obviously these things can be traced to like who owns this, who owns BlackRock. But it goes even deeper than that. I just need you to understand.
Thing in the world except who plays third base for the Mets. and they think that's a great accomplishment. And they meet and pat each other on the back and bond and go have cocktails and talk about what this guy that plays third base for the Mets did in last night's game.
What a fucking joke.
Sad.
Yeah.
It's really sad.
Yep. There's more to life. Chill.
Juvenal, the Roman poet, said it almost 2,000 years ago. The people who
Really?
once handed out military commands, high offices, everything, now restrains itself and anxiously hopes for just two things: bread and circuses.
There it is.
Bread and circuses. Today, the bread is your paycheck. The circus is the game. And while we're glued to the screen cheering for millionaires we've never met, the real decisions are being made somewhere else by people we'll never see.
So much of my life gets taken up by chasing and earning money and by watching stuff. And my life could be so much more if it wasn't. This is, ooh, we aren't mad enough.
Because here's the uncomfortable truth. History shows that a society obsessed with entertainment often becomes easier to control. As long as we're watching, we're not asking. As long as we're cheering, we're not challenging. And as long as we're numb, they stay in power.
But let me tell
We
you
don't
something.
feel the anger.
With
Yeah.
150 of the most powerful men and women in the world,
If they can numb us by calling us psycho, schizo, shoving medicines down our throat, numbing us, giving us all the lithium shuffle, the Librium shuffle, but the lithium though and stuff like that, like making you a zombie basically. Oh, they must just be crazy. Here, give them these pills. Oh, they'll shut up. They'll be a good little robot. Like, bro, once you start seeing life this way, you can't help but the noticing continues. There's a lot of noticing going on this year.
meet in secret in Baden-Baden, Germany, and plot the fate of billions. And nobody even cares about it. But 6 football players go to lunch together, and it's in the headlines across the country. You have a reflection of the society in which that exists. And it is a sick society that is doomed to self-destruction.
So based on that scenario, there's some truth into what these men are looking at.
Absolutely. And that's what makes me so sick, is that I'm trying to wake up a people who on a daily basis are proving the ones that I'm warning them about to be right.
Be honest. When was the last Davos meeting? And what exactly was proposed there? Most of us couldn't answer that because we don't care. We have TikTok, we have Instagram.
I know who that lady was, not this one, obviously. The other lady back there. Europe is the values of the Talmud. Bro, you know what it says about in the Talmud? Bro, I'm not dealing with you.
We have Netflix, we have our own lives, bills, work, relationships. Who has time to track what 150 powerful people discuss in a Swiss mountain town? And even if we watch a video about it, we forget it in seconds. The next scroll, the next notification, the next distraction. That's exactly what Cooper was talking about.
That's what it is.
While we're busy living our lives, decisions that affect our future are being made elsewhere. And most of us are simply too distracted to notice.
At all. The right track is don't believe anybody. Don't believe me. Don't believe George Bush. Don't believe anyone.
That's pretty good advice, you know. Not to say that we must break down everything that people say and stuff like that and just say, oh, that's a bunch of baloney. It's not that. It's that you must question it. You must not just take something as an absolute truth automatically and then move on with your day. Because when you do that, you're actually being brainwashed. That's what real brainwashing is. They put stuff in through subliminal messaging. You take it as truth and you move on with your day. And before you know it, they've done that over a 3-year period. And now you have all these new thoughts and beliefs. You know what I mean? You've been brainwashed, bro. But you can choose to brainwash yourself with particular information. You choose what you type in the search bar. You choose what videos you watch. Don't let them, because if you don't choose, they're going to choose for you. So make sure you're the one making the choice. Make sure you're the one confirming something before you put it in your brain as an absolute truth. You know, question things. It's fine. Nothing wrong with that. Takes a little more work and effort, but the payoff is well worth it.
You got to go out and you got to get proof in your hand before you can believe anything. And
Yeah.
to do otherwise today is the biggest mistake that anyone can ever make. You begin believing people, putting your trust in them, that they're telling you the truth. I guarantee you, you're going to take a ride on a roller coaster you don't want to be on.
Do
Oh, I
your
like
own
that.
research. Don't jump in the comments and ask, so what do we do now? I'm telling you, use your mind. Because even these videos, they're not here to feed you conspiracy theories. They're here to engage you, to wake something up. Critical thinking is the point. It's better to put your mind to work than to wait for information to be handed to you. Because what if all the information out there is wrong? What then? We have to go back to the roots, back to what we know is good, what we know is wrong. That inner compass, it's still there. We just stopped using it.
What would you tell a man who's been late to everything for 40 years, no matter how hard he tries to be on time?
I'd tell him his brain isn't broken, it's time blind, and no one ever explained what that means. We start working with it this Monday.
I'm 42, high IQ. Everyone said I'd be successful. Instead, I scroll for hours, start projects I never finish, and watch guys I used to tutor pass me by. I feel like I've wasted my entire life.
Here's what no one told you about high IQ ADHD. Your brain demands more dopamine than average. Daily life feels flat, boring, empty, so you fill it with distractions, scrolling, snacking, checking your phone, anything to
Wow.
avoid the thing that actually matters, because that thing doesn't give you the chemical hit you need. You know
Wow.
exactly what to do. You just can't make yourself do it. And the guilt makes it worse. You tell yourself you're lazy, undisciplined, a fraud. But that's not it. Your nervous
Amen.
system is treating boring, repetitive work as something to avoid. Not
Amen.
because you're weak, because that's how your brain is wired. The good news, wiring can be changed. That's why Liven created the 28-day neurodivergent reset plan. Starts this
And this
Monday.
is where I
15
leave,
minutes
is when you try to sell me something.
Is
Bye-bye.
wrong. That inner compass, it's still there. We just stopped using it.
Now, do these people recognize the continuity of life? In other words, you have told me earlier that they're after physical immortality.
They believe that through their technology, man will become God. Power of reason. Through technology, man will himself become God. They
Nope.
will engineer, just like he wanted to do, the super race who will live forever.
Now, I don't think they'll ever engineer a super race that will live forever, but I think they will find ways to extend human life expansively, where we'll be living for 200 years, then eventually 500, then 1,000. It's pretty funny to me because people in the Bible used to live. Methuselah lived for 969 years. Fasting is a big part of that, because they would eat once a week, once every 3 weeks, once every 2 weeks, twice a week. That was it. They wouldn't eat 3 meals a day every day. Dude, your body was made to live more than 100 years. That's what I believe. But this Rockefeller goy slop that they're feeding us and telling us we should be eating 3 to 5 meals a day and stuff, that's crazy. That way when you sleep, your body's digesting instead of healing. Okay, I just saw some gentleman do a video on this, and it's brilliant. And I've known about this before it, so it's not like I just learned about it today. But oh, how true it really is.
And the concept is the same, and the men behind it are the same as was.
Bill said more than 30 years ago that they would reach for immortality through technology. Back then, it probably sounded absurd. But now?
He called that way back then? Think, this is like when he predicted it, it's around like dial-up internet connection, like when we used to turn our big, huge, mammoth computers on when we were like 10 to 15 years old, and it was like and made all those weird noises, bro. And it took like 5 to 10 minutes to even get on the line. Now everything's just instant. But even before that, even before dial-up, he was predicting this stuff. This is crazy because he knows there's a group of people who have always been out there the past 100 plus years, at least, probably much longer, who are writing a script of our future. Our future doesn't just, it's not just a culmination of the present moments into what becomes the future. It's not just that simple. It seems that we have very powerful people who are meticulously planning out our future. And that should be unnerving because we don't know the content of their character. We don't know if they have pure hearts. So are they leading us down something that's going to be great and amazing for everybody, or are 90% of us going to suffer so the other 10 can enjoy a luxurious, lavish lifestyle? No.
Look at what's happening. Neuralink has successfully implanted brain chips in multiple patients. One man used it to play chess just by thinking.
Yep.
Scientists at Harvard and MIT are working on age reversal technologies. Clinical trials are underway for drugs that could add decades to human life. The CEO of OpenAI said recently that we might achieve human-level AI within a few years. And after that, merging human intelligence with machines is the next logical step. Whether you believe that or not, it's hard to ignore that we're moving in that direction faster than anyone predicted.
No matter what your religion is or what you think, they are following the scenario in the book of Revelations to a T, right down to the last little bit. If you want to know what's going to happen in the future, if we don't wake up and through the power of those, see, not one drop of blood ever has to be spilled, and no one has to ever put any chains on their legs or their arms.
This should tell you everything you need to know about the Bible. How much power the Bible has, that it is the Word of God. It was written by various men on various continents throughout various periods of time, this, all compiled together, and still the power is unmatched, unparalleled. And there's a lot of ways you can connect these stories of people who lived on different continents and did not have a cell phone to tell them, yo, I'm thinking of writing this cool thing. Maybe you should write about it too. And we'll really trip them out. No, that's not what happened, bro. So it's showing this divine connection between people from different continents, but there's one common truth. Okay, the Bible is the Word of God. It is music to my ears. Basic instructions before leaving Earth. Bible, Bible. Gotcha.
Ever. If people just wake up and exercise what was given to us in our Constitution, the power of the vote, while we still have that power.
So you say there is still a possibility for like one individual watching this tape to actually make a difference?
You better believe it.
How would that be so?
Well, number one, learn what the truth really is. Get away from the fantasy that you've been living. Educate other people, those you know, your family. Once that begins to happen, it spreads. And then if the people decide that they don't want what they have in store for us planned, just through the power of the vote, they can make this country and the world whatever they want it to be. Whatever they want it to be. And there are no limits on that, except to understand that you can never make everything all right, and you can never make everything all bad. Both must exist, and we must maintain a balance.
If you stayed until now, you're probably one of those who's awake, or at least you're willing to be. And that comes with a responsibility. Be responsible with your mind. Use critical thinking. Bill said it himself. Don't believe him. Don't believe us. Believe what you can prove, what you can verify. But you have to do the work. You have to research. You have to stay awake. Because if you stay awake, others around you might wake up too. And that's how things change. Now, Bill has a final message for us. So, whoever has ears to hear, let them hear.
By abdicating responsibility, by not walking in that divine state of grace, makes possible anyone meeting behind closed doors to bring about the world that they want. And the world that they want may not be the world that you want, or that I want, or that these people want.
Here's what upsets me is the people who want to usher in this premature revelation time period, they have power, money, resources, connection, everything like that. We just have the willpower to not want it to happen, but they have the willpower to want it to happen. But they happen to have all of these things that will help them to usher it in. And the only thing we have that could stop them is unison. We would literally need to come together and just outnumber them. That's it. That's our only saving grace is God and then our unification. And why do you think they work so hard and they invest so heavily financially, time-wise, everything to divide us? Because if we're united, their shit show would never work. Never. Not in a million years. But if we're completely divided, we would never be able to stop them. 1,000,000% we wouldn't. So this is the thing. It's an absolute this way or that way. And they're really trying to push it the other way. You get what I'm saying? So wake up.
Might want.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't participate, you can't complain. If you don't help cook the meal, you got no right to bitch about it. You got to sit down and eat what's put on your plate.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't like that, then you should have been in the kitchen helping to prepare the meal, helping to plan it, helping to prepare it, helping to serve it. If you want to sit on your butt in the living room while somebody else prepares the meal for you and decides what it's going to be and puts it on the table, it's too late to say that's not what you wanted to eat.
Mm-hmm.
It's too late to say it's not cooked the way you wanted it to cook.
Look at the
Well, it's very simple
allegories
to
with this
understand.
guy,
Yeah,
yo. Look at all the allegories this guy is spitting fire, bro. I love it. Let's go.
Right.
Okay.
You got to eat it because you have to eat to live.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that anybody can understand the meaning behind that little story.
This is deep, y'all. That's all we got in this reaction video. Thanks so much for stopping by. It's your boy, Sigma the Stigma, and I'm going to see all of y'all in the next one. Until then, stay safe, be blessed, and live lavishly. I'm going to see all of you in the next reaction video. And until then, God bless you all. Peace.